It's Fans Corner. Welcome to it, and thank you so much for making time for us. We are now shifting our focus to the CAF Champions League, and we've just watched Maniema FC against Mamelodi Sundowns out in Kinshasa in the DRC, a game that ended in 2-1 in favor of Mamelodi Sundowns, where Sundowns collected very important 3 points in these group stages. It is the penultimate game of the group stages. One more game to go before we can wrap the group, for especially looking at Mamelodi Sundowns. There's still Moroccan teams to play each other. I think Rabat and Casablanca. By the time this video comes out, the two teams would have not played yet. It depends what time you are going to watch this video. Maybe by the time you watch it, the two teams would have already played, so the conversation would be a little bit different. Now, we saw Sundowns trailing in the first half, which is unusual. Sundowns don't really struggle in these group stages, especially in the CAF Champions League. They hardly struggle. Usually they get out of the group stages with a game or two to spare. But this time around, they are going into the last game of the group stages, having not qualified yet, and anything can happen. And also depending on what will happen between Rabat and Casablanca, because Rabat are still coming to South Africa to play Mamelodi Sundowns. So it's a very important, interesting group. It has to be. It's going to the wire. It's going down the wire. We'll have to watch the last games and see what happens there. It's the first time in a long time we speak about Sundowns, and we have to take out calculators and calculate whether they will qualify for the knockout stages, because they always make a light meal of these group stages and usually struggle in the knockout stages. Maybe it's a good sign, because they always have a very good group stage performance, and then they end up being knocked out in the knockout stages. Maybe this time around they would have struggled in the group stages and do well in the knockout stages, and maybe also win the competition. Who knows? Anything can happen, and especially with the new coach at the helm of Mamelodi Sundowns. But yeah, it also one of the things that we haven't seen in Mamelodi Sundowns in a while is the dependence on a specific player in a particular position. Other than Themba Zwane, we've not really seen Sundowns. We know Sundowns in every position. They have a number of players, and you could just change any. You can just put any player, and they'll still look like the Mamelodi Sundowns that we know. Other than Themba Zwane, that conversation we haven't really had it. But now, the way Sundowns considered the goal, it's the only goal they considered in this particular game. Yes. You saw then it came from the right back, where Teboho Mokoena tried to mark the Maniema player, but he struggled with him, and it ended up being a goal. But I don't think with Khuliso Mudau being present in that game, that would have happened. I think that goal would have not been scored. I don't think they would have scored that particular goal if Mudau was there. So it now starting to look like there are those players who are standing out. Mudau definitely one of those players who you, in his absence, you are going to miss. So it's not something usual. That's what I'm trying to say, that we see Sundowns having these kind of players that without this player we struggle. It's other teams. It happens in many other teams except in Sundowns in particular. The importance of Peter Shalulile. We saw Peter Shalulile coming in the second half, just 2 minutes into the pitch, and then he scored the equalizing goal, and later on cost the own goal from Maniema FC, which then led to Mamelodi Sundowns winning the game by 2-1. So I think maybe at this point, this could be the beginning of Shalulile recovering or regaining his goal-scoring form. And I think in the next game he is probably going to start. Having scored a brace, coming in late in the second half and being able to score a brace, I think it kind of wins you a place in the next game, in the starting 11 in the next game. This is going to be a very interesting end of the group stages, because it's going all the way down to the wire now. No team has qualified yet. It will also depend what happens between Rabat and Casablanca. So we'll see what happens. We'll also be looking at the Pirates games to see how the South African teams are actually doing in this particular competition. But we expect both of them to qualify. Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates to qualify for the groups, for the knockout stages. It's just something unusual to talk about Sundowns and having to take out calculators as to will they qualify, what they need to do to qualify, because usually they qualify with a game or two to spare. Otherwise, this has been Fans Corner. Thank you so much for making time for us. Remember to click the subscribe button, off air podcast. Click the subscribe button and click the notification bell to make sure that you get alerted every time we drop something new. Thank you so much for your time. We meet again in the next one.